infantry guys, probably engineers, I would have thought, to try and hold off that armor as it's pushing in towards the D point, is, I reckon, the only viable way to actually do that kind of strategy. But we're watching Marcy, who's flying the transport helicopter for the US team, and he is, of course, making his way up to that rather tall building in the center.
Yeah, and I do think that the U.S. team has a slight advantage on getting up here around the sea. We have seen it time and time again where they have made it. And look at that, getting shot from the attack chopper. Gets taken down, but they will be able to cap C off so fast. Look at that. Wow, that is so fast.
Yeah, that's about 45 seconds from starting the match, so that's going to be a very important thing. And they managed to get their Venom back up and running. So it's currently now. I just saw the first boom. Yeah, you see that? The Chinese team are now trying to take down the skyscraper as quickly as possible. You can see them. That looks like two tanks focusing their attention onto those. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to take down that point. And obviously, maybe they're looking to get the kills. Maybe they're looking to get the tactical advantage. Any kills they can get. As you can now see, the American forces, yeah, is about to go down any second. And these guys in the American team are going to have to bail very quickly. Maybe opportunistically jump into the boat. There goes the building, and anybody around that area is going to die very horribly, very quickly.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Now, as that was happening, we are going to be seeing a big push from the armor right now for the U.S. team, and they're going to have the LAV-2 tanks coming in onto this bridge, and there goes Extra Cheesy, ends up getting taken down, and the Chinese team is pushed back all the way into D at the moment. They're not able really to do anything, although I think 2 tanks just went down for the U.S. team. What happened there?
Yeah, it was. I think what it was they were just in that little sort of side road in front of the building, in front of the skyscraper, and they thought that they weren't going to get hit by the rubble, but they actually did get flattened by that rubble. Now, I don't know what's happened, but it looks like it kind of, that rubble explosion and the people being killed has given birth to an APC, as there's now an unmanned APC sitting just outside that rubble. So whether or not that's going to get picked up, looks like we've got one of the US team moving in. They're going to pick, and it gets blown up. So I think, unfortunately, one of the US teams saw that as an enemy tank and blew it up, as we've got Jeep trying to make his way in. He pops out with an RPG, trying to do some damage to that American tank who's just outside the sea point. And you can see more fire coming into the American tank as he's now having to back off, as you can see these Chinese armor pushing out of the D point. And you can see the C point flashing, and the B point flashing, and the A point flashing. That's pretty impressive thus far.
You know what, Chad? I think that we may have just found out what these strengths and weaknesses to these sides are. Strength for the U.S. side being the fact that they can get to sea a lot faster with their helicopters, but the strength for the Chinese team seems to be that they're able to get a back cap onto this garage over here, and they've already taken it, and they've had it for quite some time now, and the U.S. team has not been able to take it back, even though that they've been coming from spawn. And look at that, a 4-cap scenario for the Chinese team, and this is exactly what we saw at the end of the last round, and it looks like when they switched sides, that team just went forward just that much more, and they are definitely going to be causing a lot of hurt here. Just look at those tickets flying down for the U.S. team.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal, but great play by the Chinese team. Now, you can see more of the Americans coming up from the spawn, and they're trying to squad bomb onto that A point. Not being held by a lot of people, but they've got to be careful because they're taking a lot of fire as they try and move into that point. The B point looks like it's being recaptured by the American forces. We'll have to see how that turns out. We're going to move over to the metro, find out what's going on, as the American forces are looking to recapture that and get the bleed back in their favor, as that is going to really help them out, as they're already now down at least 50 tickets. So the Americans are looking to recapture that point with use or nothing, and one of his teammates making his way out of that point. So they've managed to turn it around, and it looks like now, look at this. The D point, the E point as well. So they've done to the Chinese what the Chinese did to them, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? A flag is, they're not done yet. I mean, we're seeing the Chinese team just fighting tooth and nail trying to keep this back. Some nice shots from the airburst trying to kill that Jeep right here. Which, guys, if you did not... Oh, a tank is being stolen right now. So nice play by Snookfingers. Able to steal the tank after the U.S. team caps back their flag. And now it's going to be a 4 tanks for the Chinese team to only a 2 tanks for the U.S. team. And I gotta tell you what, if they can get this back around their lines, they will be in a very, very good position to be holding this off. And I mean, oh my God, that is definitely a big play right there. If they can stay alive, and I think he will be able to.
Yeah, the trouble is obviously he's going to be getting a lot of attention from a lot of people very quickly indeed. And a lot of these guys are going to be carrying RPGs and they're going to be pretty pissed. But he's got an engineer guy who's there in to support him. So hopefully he can keep him alive. I think that's a Pumpkin, I think that was. No, that was Plumpin, and he's not Plump anymore. He's now flat as a pancake as he managed to get a kill. And let's just see what's going on. As you've got teams who are, or men who are working around them, trying to keep that tank up and running. And you can obviously see Snook Fingers taking a little bit of fire, and there's an engineer going in for a repair tool kill, but fortunately for him, his teammate Waxers 366 was there to take him out. And that was Matsif, who went in there for a repair tool kill, and it looks like they've abandoned that tank. This is not a good situation for the Chinese team, as that looks like they might lose their tank as, oh, their tank's been stolen back. Look at that, and then unfortunately then taken down. So the Chinese team have now lost their advantage that they had with holding on to that tank. But Matsif came in there, did a lovely little tank steal from underneath their nose, and now they've got more American armor moving in on the A point. The Chinese team also trying to deal with absolutely tons of Americans moving into this point. These guys are jumping all over the place, and sustained fire coming in from the American team is just cutting a sway through all these Chinese players, and I think they may have liberated the A point, Brett.
Yeah, that was amazing. There's a flood of about 10 or 15 players that just came in there onto A point and just caused a massive amount of damage. And at the same time, we are going to be seeing a paradrop coming in from the transport helicopter, able to take out one that's going to be Snook Fingers, but not going to be doing any more damage. He did get one of his squad members to spawn up on top of the building, so they will be able to get some parachutes going on right now, which is exactly what's happening. And he's going to be able to cause a little bit of damage from behind, but unless he can get some spawns going off on him right now, he is going to be in a very bad position. Now, it does look like the Chinese team did seem to kind of, I guess level out there. They were able to take C flag back, control their gimme, and we're going to be seeing Mad get back here into the Jeep, and he's going to be able to drive this up into the A point if he elects to. Nope, decides to end up getting out and trying to stay alive on this outside of the parking garage. I don't know why he's laying
I just saw the Chinese team do a beautiful squad bomb at A. Literally, one guy was hiding behind cover. Next thing you know, there's 5 guys. And it was just absolutely mad. Unfortunately, the final members of the Chinese team have been finished off. We could be talking about another paradrop. Now, this is interesting to see. If you look at the skyscraper overlooking A, obviously the nice campy area where you've got a couple of Chinese people. Now, it could be what they're doing is they're actually using that as a spawn area. Now, what it could be is whether or not they're doing a little bit of squad swapping or anything like that. Actually get their squad leader to spawn on that point. He then goes back into his squad. He can then parachute down onto the A point, and the rest of his team can then spawn on him. So this is a possibility that they might be doing. And you can see now you've got the likes of Sergeant Taylor and Gardenlop in there. They're doing designation. Oh my goodness, there's literally 3 RPGs paused and waiting to fire at this poor bugger in a helicopter who's about to enter a world of hurt, as indeed he dives for cover very quickly, flying past the B point, using the buildings very smartly for additional cover away from that laser designation, as otherwise he's going to get a high explosive enema that he will not like. Brett.
That's one way to put it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Able to spawn off onto this top area, and we're seeing Snook Fingers and his squad just constantly bombarding that A flag. And, that's exactly what they need to do from the Chinese team, just basically hitting that gimme flag over and over and over.
Look round the back of A. I just saw Plumpin and friends, massive squad bomb. Look at this. This is fantastic play by these guys. I mean, they're coming under a lot of fires. They tried to do the squad bomb. They lost about 3 or 4 of their people. But this was a beautiful parachute, possibly from the transport helicopter, around the back of one of the buildings so that they can then push in towards that A point. So this is the kind of, I have to say, these are very sneaky and devious individuals that we've got on the Chinese side, I have to say, and it's wonderful. I'm loving every glorious minute thus far, Brett.
Yeah, but right now I think the U.S. team, they're tired of being pushed back in their own spawn. They're now going to be making their way out towards C flag, and they will be able to get the gray out. The thing they have to watch out for is that, hey, the Chinese team has the boat now, and they're going to be able to cause a lot of damage on it. Not a whole lot of cover for the U.S. team to get that flag burned. And here it is. Let's see if he can do anything with it. Doesn't look like he's going to actually do anything, actually. Electing to sit back. But the attack chopper is going to be coming in.
I have to say, I'm liking his camo, very, very summery to say the least. But the good thing is they've not only got a guy in there, but they've actually got a dedicated engineer on that boat, which is smart. He can swap between the minigun position and also, obviously, the repair position. Now, obviously, you've got an armored tank. Looks like that would be that's Matsif moving in on the right-hand side. He's trying to engage that vehicle. Now, you also notice over by the E point, you've got a couple of sneaky Americans who are trying to capture that point, now coming under fire from the boat as it's pushing in with its minigun fire and cannon fire, Brett, and it's looking pretty nasty for them.
Yeah, but oh my god, getting shot from all kinds of directions with these RPGs, and tried to get some reps going on back there, not able to do so. Ends up going down. Now there is going to be a tank that's going to be coming back here. It's going to be MLP Dark Tan, and he will be able to at least suppress this team for a little bit. But here's the problem: he doesn't have anybody that's spawned in on him, and he is by himself. And if they have at least 3 Engis with him, he's going to be able to get taken out so fast.
Yeah, now the trouble is, obviously, you've got a transport there. He looks to be dropping off maybe some people. We'll have to wait and see, but you've got one of the other American helicopters hovering around the area, and I think they're going to be very slowly pushing into this point at E to try and capture it back, but there's still a couple of the US team sniffing around the area, waiting for an opportunity. Now, where there was 2, now there's 4. This is going to be a problem for the Chinese team. Can they get this point back? E is being well defended by the American team, and you can see at the moment they've now got the bleed on the tickets. They've got 3 points. Now they're going to have 4 points, and the entire dynamic of the game, the strategy has entirely changed on its head, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at, oh my god, look at all those people that have spawned in over there. We got at least 4, maybe 5 players that have spawned in on the backside of E right now, with only a few for the Chinese team to try and save this. It's going to be a tank and 1 support player who's back. He's got 100 bullets and he's ready to rock and roll. Let's see if he's going to be doing any damage. He ends up taking out 1 and 2, so he is going to be able to do some damage. It's going to be Wax Ass, and there's a 3rd right there. Can he make it a 4th one? I don't know. Oh no, he can't. Not able to get that 4th player, but definitely holding out for his team. They did end up getting the cap and allowed the tank to get rep back up, and he's going to be over here able to protect a lot of this back area for E flag.
Yeah, that was Expandas, who unfortunately wasn't able to save his friend Extra Cheesy. But you can now see him running from the tank, but unfortunately being mown down very quickly by the tank. Oh, RPG literally missed only by a second, so that Chinese tank is now in a stronger position. However, we just saw a quick pop in. You can see a couple of American troops in there taking cover. You saw nothing in Hitman 47. And there we go, another quick pin from Tactical Virus. He's in with the RPG. Hitman goes down, shot in the back very quickly. Out goes the RPG into the enemy tanks. And now you can see the E point is being contested very heavily by what looks to be a couple of very sneaky US soldiers here. These guys are not running around much. They are literally being used as a spawn point for their team. And this is smart play by the US.
One of the things that you have to remember too is that, you know, one squad, if they're able to get behind here on E, and as we're seeing right now, just constantly spawning back here, and if it forces a tank and its squad to be back here, that's worth it, guys. That's a full piece of armor and a squad that's not on the map doing anything else. So definitely worth it, and we're seeing used very effectively. In fact, it closed that gap quite nicely for the U.S. team. It's now going to be 532 to 413 in favor of the Chinese team, but not as bad as what it was at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, now one thing you did see is the engineer who was babysitting the tank for the Chinese team decided to take matters into his own hands and did the best thing he could. He actually went into the building in E and cleared out the remaining US team members. So they've now secured that E point. The attack by the American team has been shut down, and we're waiting to see how they decide to focus their attentions as we're now seeing the bleed back onto the US side. 530 tickets to 387, 15 minutes just about to tick over on the clock. Yet again, the Chinese have the tactical advantage. We'll have to wait and see how this turns out, Brett, because there's still plenty all to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing a big armor push right now for the Chinese team over here onto the bridge. And I think they will be able to hold off the majority of these infantry players. In fact, they're being forced to go into the water and swim across the sea flag, doing a really good job of just keeping them off of this bridge, which is definitely what they need to do.
Is that a jihad jeep?
Oh, let's look at it! Let's get it! Oh, no, it wasn't! He just drove right by him. That would have been awesome if it was.
I don't think it was a jihad jeep. I think it was an attempt to get behind the lines.
But I think he's going to be able to do some damage to the tank back here if he can stay alive. He was able to get a back shot.
Yeah, he went for that back shot, but unfortunately missed it. That was an opportunity to take out Chukanoko with a very nasty shot, and unfortunately he's lost that vehicle, and the guy who was behind enemy lines has now been finished off. So that was an opportunity missed. Now the thing is, what I noticed is that the Chinese team, their armor was not pushing over the bridge very quickly. You could see, because they had a large amount of armor for the Americans were staying back, sort of towards the back of B, hoping to try and coax the Chinese team out, whether they would actually be vulnerable to attacks from all directions. But the Chinese team were not going to play that game. They did not want to get into that situation. Now, unfortunately, it looks like we're looking at one of the American team. There's Marcy. He's overreached himself, and now he's going to be in a very difficult situation as he's going to be susceptible. He looks like he's been immobilized. He's going to have to get a little bit of engineer loving quite soon, and this is not a good situation for him, as you've also then got a Chinese tank who looks to be pushing the point. As Cognito Con, he's pushing that point and trying to get behind the enemy armor as best he can. He's got to be careful, and it looks like he's about to have a little bit of love tap onto the tank there for Necromancer. And yeah, he got taken down very quickly. Didn't stand a chance against two tanks and multiple RPGs there, Brett.
Yeah, and right now, Dark Tank is going to be back over onto E flag, along with a hell of a lot of U.S. players, and it will be getting contested right now. And we're going to see the same problem that we saw last time, where the U.S. team is able to keep spawning on each other over and over and over again. And is it going to be worth it to the Chinese team to basically pull players back to this flag in order to save it, or should they try and push across to B flag or A flag? And I think right now we're actually going to be seeing them go to A flag. It is going to be contested at the moment, and but E flag now finally going to be getting up in the top of it. Cognito, he's going to be able to get maybe one infantry player. Oh my God, so much destruction! Track Chopper coming in from behind, able to cause a little bit of suppression, a little bit of damage there, but we are going to be seeing a transport in pursuit, and he's going to be able to get some awesome minigun action going on here. Will he be able to take down the chopper like we saw earlier?
Now, I'm looking at the moment over at E, and it looks like they had a little bit of a sneaky cap by American forces at the E point. The Chinese team have managed to... Oh, but look at this. Look at this. Look over. If you look at E, and then literally look at one of the skyscrapers to the right of E, up top. Look at that. That is sneaky.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, able to get those spawns going off right there. It does look like the Chinese team were able to capture Echo. They have it now in their possession. But again, like you said, Chad, sitting up on top of these buildings, that means that they're poised to jump down at any time, really, and start contesting that flag once again. So definitely going to be very, very hard for this Chinese team in order to clean it up. And oh my God, look at over there at the C flag, where we're going to be seeing 5 players now over here on C, going to be able to get that grade out, and they will be able to get the cap going on. 3 coming in for the Chinese team. Let's see if they can make anything happen. It is going to be infantry on infantry here. We do see some nades being pulled out, possibly grouping up a little bit too much together, but man, look at that, able to take out 2 more players, and they will be pushing up very, very aggressive, holding off a back rage right there. So this Chinese team doing a great job on the infantry play, and they're going to be able to get this flag back no problem, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. I mean, they've got US team members who are in there, but they're taking fire, obviously, from a tank. So you've got a tank spraying the area to support the Chinese team. But I think we've got a whole squad here of US troops who are here to try and defend this point against the push-in by the Chinese forces. Now, one thing that I did want you to go and have a look at where Fisherman 999 is currently located, Brett. I think you'll find it quite interesting.
Alright, let's take a look at Fisherman right now. Yeah, he is on top right now of Echo with the recon kit and with the laser designator. Has he been doing any damage with it?
I think he has, because obviously the thing that he can do is he can effectively suppress any attempts by their helicopters to come out and try and change the battle plan.
Oh,
So
he's
this
trying
is-
to get some C4 kills down there.
I saw that.
That would have been awesome.
He's had to back off as he took a little bit of the airburst fire. But the good thing is it means that these guys being used as a spawn point by their team means that they can effectively wait until there is nobody on the E point and then just parachute in, squad bomb it, and take it very quickly from under the nose of the Chinese team.
Yeah, absolutely.
But-
Now we are going to be seeing D or a C flag. What the heck is that, guys? That was interesting. We did see some rockets doing a little bit of loop-de-loops there in the air. But we are going to be seeing D flag being contested. Now, guys, the reason why this is such a crazy moment is because they are about to get four-capped here for this U.S. team. If they are not careful, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players on top of the roof. There goes out of the elevator, and it looks like it will be cleaned up, but not before 3 players getting taken down for this Chinese team. And look at that. Look at that. D flag is now going to be contested once again. And I gotta say, this U.S. team is looking pretty good. Maybe for a comeback like we saw in the last match, if they can do it, it's 246 to 350. Definitely in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to see, especially after what occurred in the previous round. That means if it turns out that way, it'll be 1 round apiece. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. But you can see, obviously, huge amount of pressure and a Mav that just seems to have parked itself on a tree, which is obviously rather interesting. But you can see now, it looks like these guys at the D point are coming under fire. So you can see the Chinese team moving in, trying to deal with guys, and they're not. And see if they can pay attention to what's going on. There's a guy on the glass, but no, he got taken down very quickly. So there are multiple Americans on the glass. They're taking down the Chinese team as they're trying to defend that D point. They're having a few problems as they're coming under fire from the American chopper. Now, if you look at that transport chopper, I have a funny feeling that there's a single guy in that. That's Expanders. Now, for those of you who are not aware of what he's doing, he is basically flying that thing solo, hopping into the gun position, engaging the enemy, and then hopping back into the pilot position before the chopper crashes into the ground. Quite interesting play there, Brett.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe that you're talking about the flare glitch, right?
I don't know if it's the flare glitch or not, but
Yeah.
the thing is, at the moment, I don't know if he's flaring or not, but he is literally jumping into the gunner position to actually engage those guys on the D point in order to give them a little bit of extra suppression. And he took down some of those guys, some of those Chinese guys. So I wouldn't say it was the flare glitch. I would say it's just one man doing his best to try and kill as many of the Chinese forces as he possibly can.
Absolutely, and definitely awesome stuff to watch there. But if we're looking at it right now, this Chinese team deciding to go for a double gimme situation where they're going to be contesting A flag right now. Actually, they did cap A flag. They are going to be able to get B flag with no problem. We'll be getting cleaned up onto A. Go back into possession of the U.S. team. D flag also going to be getting contested heavily. Let's take a look over here where we're seeing some parachutes on top of the building, able to clean up the players that were parachuting down into the D flag and contesting it right now. Chinese team able to take out one. No, not able to take him out. Zebra getting completely turned on right there. That is not good for his team. But we will be seeing the elevator usage going down right now. And I gotta say, I'm loving the fact that they implemented elevators. It's just such a cool little factor in this map that we haven't seen before. And it really is a good choke point on these situations.
Yeah, now obviously they've got an MRAP actually at Metro at the moment, and Kismet Jimu comes out to try and take out some of the enemy. He gets dropped as soon as he cuts out. It's Admiral Giggles. Admiral Giggles, he is in charge. He's not giggling, but he's definitely shooting a lot of people. And he's decided to move the MRAP out of that position to try and get a better position on the troops. And we're looking at Dots Up, who's currently hiding behind a very well-armoured, but not well-armoured enough, column, as he gets cut to pieces by the MRAP of the Gigglinator over there. And we're now watching to see what's going on. As you can see, a little bit of fun, a little bit of RPG fun, and M320s coming in, taking down poor Giggles. But in that shot behind them, there is a crap ton of Chinese forces.
Yeah, this is definitely a heated fight right now. Now, guys, at the moment, they still are on the burn. That's right. If you are in these shops on B flag, you are still in the burn. And he's going to be able to use his air burst to a really good effect. If you can get some ammo in it right now, able to shoot around those corners and cause a lot of suppression, a lot of damage right now going down. And they're doing a really good job of holding on here. That was a 4-man push that they were able to clean up there. Now a tank having to come back, 2 tanks having to come back onto this B flag. And it looks like the Chinese team trying to bring it back, but right now 200 to 196. It is now going to be evened out with B and A flag both flashing.
Yeah, this is turning out to be very interesting. Poor old Admiral Giggles gets taken down. He has died unceremoniously on the stairs as they brought a tank into the shopping arena, and you can see a little bit of fire coming in, and the tank determined to push those Chinese out of there. And it is, of course, Chukanoku, and you can see him. Oh, look at this C4 going onto the tank, but no, he didn't get a chance. And then Sergeant Taylor gets smushed at the front of the tank for added insult to injury. As you can see, Chukanoku struggling to get his tank out of the shopping arcade. So obviously it's not a sales day. He won't be able to get a repaint very cheap, and we'll just have to wait and see if he's first for the sales as he moves on to the next point and tries to ensure maybe... No, I think he's going to stay around B to try and ensure that that actual area is secure until another tank arrives, Brett.
Yeah, but at the same time, when they just got that cleaned out, we're going to be seeing a huge push from this U.S. team over onto E flag, and they've been able to get the gray out here and trying to get the cap, but really good response from this Chinese team, able to get enough infantry back here to contest it, as we did see them clearing out those skyscrapers earlier with the choppers, so they're not going to be able to parachute down anymore, and unfortunately, it's like he ended up getting stuck right there. I think the Chinese team will be able to hold this back. Seeing just a massive amount of infantry back here onto E flag, and I think the U.S. team, if they can hold on to their gimme flag right now, which it is flashing, might be able to come back and win this.
Oh, look at that. Oh, literally pretty much all of the Chinese team who were on top of E got taken down with multiple grenades, explosions, and everything along those lines. But fortunately, they've just squad bombed, and now they've got 3 people in there, and it looks like they're going to try and move in and possibly outflank, but they've got the help of a Jeep, so there's Jaduz in there as well, and we're obviously looking at Solmatic in there trying to do his thing, but Chinese people remain at the E point. That's going to give them a major problem, and it's obviously the airburst coming in from one of these guys over on the one side, so let's see. That's Marcy coming in with the airbursts onto the Chinese forces on the top of E, and that's causing them some serious problems, Brett.
Yeah. Right now, they are up on top of the building. They are able to get the cap going on, or I'm sorry, the U.S. team is able to get the cap back again. But look at that, the U.S. chopper coming in, and they're going to be able to clean up this roof here. Nothing that this team can do because they're all assaults. And look at that death just being rained down. 3 players getting taken out on top of that building. That is definitely unfortunate, but we are going to be seeing, I believe we just saw a knife going down right there from the U.S. team. It's a nice job there. Only 1 player left. This is going to be Evil Josie. He's going to be left up on this E flag by himself. Let's see if he can make anything happen. Parachute coming down from his team, and I think they are going to be able to clean it up, but it's going to be so close because guess what? More enforcements coming in from the water. And yeah, they're going to be able to... Oh, massive spawn bomb! 5 guys coming in. They're going to be able to take the Jeep and push into this flag once again. Just massive chaos going down on this E flag.
Yeah, this is where all the action is. You've obviously got one of the Jeeps in there as well. He's taking fire from the Chinese tank, which has now moved into support. And oh, look at that fire coming down from the top of the building. You've got the Chinese team actually on top of one of the buildings overlooking E. So you've got to watch out for them, as there's a huge amount of fire coming down from these guys as they're trying to suppress the American forces. And look at that, 160 tickets they won that round,
yeah,
with 4 minutes to spare. That was impressive stuff there, Brett.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, guys, is that the Chinese team was in a 4-cap situation. They were ahead by about 150 to 200 tickets at one point, and the U.S. team able to bring it back, that's the second comeback that we have seen. It's almost like a trend here. If you get out front at the very beginning, you're going to end up losing it there towards the end. But definitely an exciting match going back and forth. Chad, what to you was the defining moment in that match? Like, what do you think was the move that won the U.S. team the victory?
It was that first push into E. I think it was definitely that first push into E. It kept China on the back foot. It kept them guessing as to what was going to happen. And the good thing is that they didn't just let it lie. They kept pushing that point. They kept harassing them. Those guys who got up onto the building, that gave them a massive advantage, because as soon as, for whatever reason, the Chinese team moved on from E, the Americans could just drop straight back onto it, capture it, and bingo, they were away and off again. And the amount of times we saw squad bombs by the US team onto that point they changed the entire dynamic of the game. That's, I think, is what helped them win that map.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. The fact that they were able to get onto those back flags, pulled back